Now, how do you become a music producer? I'm going to share some things that will help, some tips that will help you in starting a journey in this career path. Now, first of all, acquire basic music skills. Acquire basic music theory, music arrangement, music composition, songwriting, singing. Acquire these basic skills. If you want to acquire much more advanced musical training, much more complex musical theory and ideas, that's fantastic. But to become a music producer in 2020, basic music training is more than enough. To become a music producer, you also need to acquire basic recording skills. You can do this by understudying a recording engineer, learning from a recordist somewhere. You can apply for a course, you can do some apprenticeship. However you do it, it's important that you acquire basic recording skills because this will serve you well, like I mentioned earlier in this video. Also, get recording software training. Now, it doesn't matter what particular software, whether it's Pro Tools, Studio One, Logic, Reason. What matters is that you pick your choice and you learn how to use it very well so that it will serve you in your music production career. You also need to learn the use of the softwares inbuilt into these particular recording softwares. You also need to learn how to use the plugins and the virtual instruments because if you're the type of producer that will find virtual instruments, virtual pianos, virtual guitars, virtual drums, useful in your career, in your studio, then you would want to learn how to use these virtual instruments so that you would not be a novice, so that you would know what to do and how to apply them to reach your goals and to achieve the things that you have in your mind. To be a good music producer in 2020, you also need to acquire studio tech skills. Now, these are skills that will help you wherever you decide to set up your own studio. Learning how to, connect these equipment, what cable goes where, what connector goes where. These are things you need to learn because you need to learn how to set up these things so that it can serve you wherever you are. If you have a gig that involves, you being mobile, traveling from one state to another to record and to produce, you need to not just learn your software skills and your virtual instrument skills, you also need to have some tech skills that will enable you set up a mobile recording kit or mobile recording, rig that would serve in whatever location that you find yourself in. And if you find yourself in a recording studio that you haven't worked at before, you wouldn't be confused. You would still be able to do every single thing that you've set out to do because you have the studio tech skills that would enable you adjust the setup to suit your own workflow, enable you do some reconnections, adjustments here and there that will help you achieve whatever you want to achieve in that particular session. To become a fantastic music producer, you also need to learn the skill of properly applying musical elements to a song. Now, this is something that you need to learn from someone who has done it for a while. This is something you can learn by listening to a lot of music and a lot of good music, a lot of well-produced music, so that you can begin to get used to the art of applying musical elements to a song. What type of drums to use in what type of songs, what type of keys, what type of guitars to use in what type of songs. Now, these are things that are very, very important. These are decisions that every music producer has to make every single time on every single project. So it's important that you know how to make these decisions properly. Now, I've talked about music apprenticeship several times before, and I think it's something that will help you massively if you want to be a music producer. Look for a fantastic music producer in your locality and serve as an apprentice so that you can learn every single thing that you need to learn in order to begin your journey in this career path. Also, to become a fantastic music producer, you need to study the music industry. Study the music industry, study how things work, study who makes the things work, study the different players in the music industry and how they can be of service and the roles that they play in helping you achieve your own goals and you achieve the things that you want to achieve in your career. Also, to be a successful music producer, you need to learn the music market. You need to learn what works in the market and what doesn't work in the market so that you can be able to craft your own commercial releases to succeed in the market. And that's if everyone does what they're supposed to do, everyone does what they're supposed to do, and when they're supposed to do what they're supposed to do. All right, so that's important. Now, if you need to do an apprenticeship for this particular in this particular area, then go ahead and do that. Study someone who knows the market very well and study the market yourself. You have to be a continuous student, a perpetual student of the market, because the market changes. So you're learning every day how the market behaves and how the market could receive your commercial products. You can also study the songs that are released by other music producers, more successful music producers, and observe the trend, observe the way that they release their music, how their music is released, what day of the week it is released, how they follow trends and all that. And that's how to be a fantastic student of the music market, and it will help you in your own craft. Now watch this video till the very end, because I'm going to talk about different ways you can earn money as a music producer at the end of this video. There are 3 common misconceptions about the music producer, and maybe you've heard 1 or 2 of them before. Now I'm going to be mentioning them, and I hope to convince you that they are nothing but myths. Now, number 1 is that not every musician is supposed to be a music producer. The music producer is not a level that every musician is supposed to graduate to someday in their careers. No, the music producer, like I mentioned earlier in this video, is an independent career path that anybody, anywhere from any part of the world can decide to take. Now this has nothing to do with being a musician. The music producer is different from a musician. The musician is a different career path from that of a music producer. Now that's the first thing you need to realize. Does the music producer need to possess some musical skills? Of course. The music producer has to be sort of a musician in his own right. But the musician himself, or the performer, or the singer, the instrumentalist, is someone who has his own path to follow, is someone who has his own set of skills that are different in several ways from that of a music producer. So they are 2 different things. They are 2 different career paths that 2 different people should follow. Misconception number 2, the music producer doesn't need to have the ability to play an instrument. If he does, that's fantastic, that's his choice. But the most important skills he needs to acquire are those I mentioned earlier in this video, and playing an instrument is not a very important part of these requirements. So if he knows how to play an instrument, that's cool, but he does not need to know how to play an instrument. He can have several people play any instrument as he so pleases in the course of producing the music. Number 3, the music producer does not need to mix and master the songs that he produces. Now remember, the music producer is not a music arranger, he's not a music composer, he's not just a musician or a recording engineer that records a song. He's the music producer. He oversees the entire process of converting that song idea to a final commodity that goes into the market. So it's important that you realize that he's not just the recording engineer. He's not just recording it and then he has to mix and has to master it. No, he can have any mix engineer or any mastering engineer mix or master the songs that he produces. All right, now we're down to money earning sources for the music producer. Number 1, producing music, producing singles or albums for artists, clients, bands, and all whatnot. Now, this is the most common source of income for the music producer. Even in 2020, many people know just this form of creating income for the music producer. Now, you can decide to do this, or you can decide to, stretch yourself and go beyond this. And there are several other options that you can go for as a music producer, which I will be revealing in detail in a subsequent video. So stay tuned to Music Business Monday. Now, of course, producing music for artists, producing music for bands is as straightforward as it can get. Artists, clients, bands bring their songs to a music producer, and the music producer starts the process of converting their song ideas to finished musical commodities that go into the market. Source of income number 2 for the music producer is, of course, pre-production for artists and bands. Now, this involves preparing that song idea for the production process. Now, it's pre-production because it involves all the things that go into crafting both the artist, crafting both the band and the songs that they want to produce into what can work as a commodity, as a musical commodity that goes into the market. So if the band needs to get ready in terms of, working together, sounding better as a team, in terms of building the songs, songwriting ideas, bringing in touches here and there to improve the quality of the product, this is the pre-production phase. This is before the actual recording and all the sessions and mixing and mastering. It's before all that. It's before we go to the studio. The pre-production stage is actually preparing the band, the artist, the songs, the albums that they're trying to record for the actual production stage. So the music producer can play a massive role in helping everybody who is in the process, everybody who is in the project, have a fantastic time in the actual recording stage. So it's going to be a quick and stress-free one at that. The next music producer source of income I'm going to be mentioning in this video is beat sales. Now this involves the music producer creating an instrumental or a song and crafting it himself independent of any artist. Now this is for him and he's selling this on the internet. Now this is very common even in 2020 and it's a lucrative one at that. A lot of music producers out there are deciding to upload free instrumentals and give stuff away for free just to be listed on artists' albums, but that doesn't stop you from making money from your own uploads and your own beat sales, actual beat sales. So this involves you just creating something by yourself, producing it into a finished commodity, and then selling on the internet. Next on the list here is music sync licensing. Now this involves the music producer creating a piece of music and then contacting music supervisors or music curators for film and movies and having that particular piece of music used in the course of the music. This involves music producers actually going out to look for music supervisors and filmmakers or people who curate musical content for their films and movies and offering, the use of their songs and their musical pieces for a fee. Now, this is something that you would want to think about very well, and you would want to do your research very well before you go into, so that you don't get cheated. Next on the list here is music publishing. Music producers can actually earn money from publishing the songs that they actually produce. Now, this is something that you have to go into tactfully, and you have to ensure that you have an agreement that is foolproof and fail-proof, ready to go, because your artists and your clients have to understand every single thing that goes into the deal, and you have to make sure that you are also being straight and fair with every single person, doing everything that you have to do right. It just takes both parties knowing exactly what they're going into and agreeing to disagree on the figures and the terms of the contract. So there you have it. We've talked about the music producer, the first career path in this series on music industry options that are available to you. We've talked about what it means to be a music producer, what it takes to become a music producer, the different skills that you need to acquire. We've talked about some misconceptions that you need to discard completely, and we've talked about some earning options that are available to the music producer. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please drop a like, tap the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you are notified when there's new content and when there are subsequent episodes of Music Business Monday. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop the questions in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to get back at you. All right, so till next time when we see, I'm Akurios and I'm out.